Is personal branding for LinkedIn. I've been thinking about doing this webinar for a little bit of time where I've been spending the past 2 years just trying to get good at LinkedIn and trying to find out, like, could I make this channel work for me? So I've had a lot of peers that have been able to kind of learn from and just kind of, see what I can do to kind of catch on from them. And I've learned an insane amount over the last 2 years, and I'm still learning. So I think the one thing that I try to share with other people is, the idea of just being patient. And while we get people coming in, I'm just going to check that I've got everything going. Yeah, it looks like we're live. I see myself on LinkedIn. I'm going to join myself and mute this. There we go. So I'm just wanting to stay on top of the comments, networking, comments. So if we've got some people on board, just leave a comment and just waiting for some people to stroll in. Looks like there's always a lag. And let's see. Waiting for some people to jump on board. Okay. I know I still got some work to do in terms of figuring out how this works properly in terms of okay. I think we've got some people on board. Your channels. I'm just looking at what we have for LinkedIn. Personal branding for LinkedIn. Okay, we're definitely live on LinkedIn. Okay, so we've already got our first couple comments. So my restream is not showing things, so I'm just going to keep going into this presentation right now because it's going to be recorded and everyone can always leave a comment, ask a question, or even send me a DM. So I'm going to turn on the presentation and I'm going to jump right into this. So this is personal branding for LinkedIn. The things that I know I'm not going to talk about today are anything to do with ads. That's a bit more advanced, and I do have other companies that I would recommend for ads. As much as I spend some time on company profiles, that's also something I don't want to get into today. I think company profiles is a whole other beast. It's done differently, but I'm a big believer that you as a person are actually more important than company pages. I think company pages can be complementary and they're additional to what people want to do, but I'm just focusing on you today. So I'm sharing my experience of what LinkedIn has done for me. I see what it does for other people, and that's all we're going to focus on today. So big list of table of contents. You can read everything here. I'm going to cover everything from I'm going to start pretty early with the mistakes that people tend to make when they get started with LinkedIn. I see these mistakes happen all the time. And rather than wanting to critique every single post about saying, okay, you're making a mistake of doing these critical mistakes, I figured it'd be best to do a webinar because, I mean, obviously there's a right and wrong way to hurt someone's feelings. So, and I'm also going to share some of the tips of things that have worked really well. And I'm actually going to share some data insights and analytics of some content that's worked really well. And I believe that sharing some of your best knowledge and information is actually one of the key core components of personal branding. So that's maybe the theme behind everything today, although I don't really dive into it, but I just want to explain that. So as I mentioned, being good at something can take time. I think people get frustrated when they do a single post and they're kind of hoping for home runs, or they get disappointed that the post they thought was going to do well didn't do well. And I think where a lot of people fail at social media, it's kind of no different than building a website and failing at search engine optimization, is people just don't really stay consistent to what they do. So I think it really helps to, kind of come up with some plans, try to be mindful and go, what can I do that's going to, build some longevity and stick to a plan. I mean, you could apply this concept for podcasting, but I think the consistency part is pretty important. And so, what can LinkedIn do for you? I'm just going to share a couple of my stories. When I first got into LinkedIn to say I'm going to take this channel very seriously and work at it, I went out of my way to find out who are attending conferences, and I wanted to make new connections in advance. So if I had an idea of who was going to be at a conference, then I basically just went out of my way. I wanted to connect with that person, and I also wanted a chance to chat with them. I found that for some people that are executives, they're pretty busy. They get bombarded with messages all the time. And some of them simply don't spend enough time on LinkedIn, which is totally their own choice. But you just can't expect that people are always going to reply to a message. So you can ask for a meeting, but you have to put in context. So I just wanted to share that by doing these little steps of connecting with people, it's made it easier for people to recognize me and say, hey, we just connected on LinkedIn the week before and we've met at a conference. Now, fast forward a good year and a half, and I'm getting a lot of different reaction. And I share stories with other people that are also amplifying their LinkedIn profile, and we're sharing the same stories. We're getting people that come up to us at conferences saying, hey, I love your content, or they talk to me as if they know me, and I kind of feel embarrassed because I'm struggling. I'm looking for their name tag, and I want to know who they are. So my job is that the more people I connect with, the more I have an opportunity to connect with these people at conferences. So if I don't recognize them first, they can at least recognize me. And LinkedIn has just done a ton for me. So what can it do for you? I mean, it doesn't really matter if you're an affiliate manager, work for a company, or have your own company. I think the benefits, they apply to almost everyone, but they just look a little different. They can help you get another job. It can help you find that next job candidate if you're looking to hire. Um, you can become like a bit of an influencer. Now, we're not talking like on the scale of like having 1 million plus followers, but the more followers you have, especially when they're quality, means you'll be able to sell products or services. You'll be able to recommend stuff to other people, and you'll actually get a bit of a following. And so yeah, I'm just checking my notes here just to see who's all jumping on board. And yeah, it's for me, I've been able to spot opportunities as well. It's opportunities for customers, opportunities for networking, opportunities for dinner invites and parties and social networking. There's just so many benefits, and I think people should really take LinkedIn more seriously as a channel. And I think some people are starting to do that, but usually people kind of say they don't know where to start. So I want to share how LinkedIn has helped me personally, and it's been on multiple levels. As a company, we were looking for investors, so it helped us find investors. I believe it's helped us win some. It's helped us find customers. I believe it's helped us win some. And I know this by asking customers, how did you hear about us? And LinkedIn is a very common answer. And it's LinkedIn recommendations. And it's also, I follow your content or I saw one of your videos. It helps for making connections at conferences. So that's been very, very important for me. And it's actually opening up even more doors for networking. I have people approach me that we don't have products and services to sell to each other, but they want to do content and networking collaborations. So they look at me personally as someone that, if I'm able to comment or talk about their product or service in a good way, they see that as very influential. I mean, it's the kind of core element of affiliate marketing. People like to buy from people, and people are always looking for trust. So I want to go right into the things that just drive me nuts when I see of people making mistakes. So I call this the 3 critical LinkedIn mistakes almost everyone's making. They're doing it all the time, and they don't realize it, and we don't blame them. It takes time to learn how each social network works for their algorithm. So I'm going to talk about the pain or the mistakes, and then talk about what's behind the algorithm. So linking out in your posts it's like drives me nuts. I used to do this all the time, and it took me a long time to realize that social networks really don't like it when you link out. So you have to think about it. Pretend you own LinkedIn. Would you just allow everyone to put links everywhere? The answer is no for multiple reasons. One is you're sending your users away from your own platform, which is going to decrease your revenue. And if you encourage people to just if you were rewarded by posting links, what's going to happen? It's going to become a spam fest. LinkedIn would be the worst place to follow news, to learn insights, because everyone would just be posting spam. So it doesn't work that way. And I think people need to realize that just linking out is just not good. But when you don't link out, LinkedIn rewards that. So that's something to take into consideration. And there's smart ways of selling. If I'm talking about, something that we do as a company, I know I don't need to link out to, because I know it's going to have spin-off effects. It's going to be a direct message. They'll go to my profile and see that I'm linking to my company. Or maybe better yet, they might actually go straight into Google and just do a search. And this is actually pretty common. So the second one is actually, I think I just skipped ahead one, relying on hashtags. I do this all the time. I still use hashtags. I think hashtags are good for different reasons, more that it kind of adds a bit of formatting to the content. It just summarizes what is the key message about this article or post I'm doing. Is it about SEO? So I'm going to use the hashtag SEO. But I think people rely on hashtags, and what I see as another mistake is people will just load up hashtags. Like half of their content is just like 20, 10 hashtags, as if each hashtag is going to help. Now, you got to understand, again, from LinkedIn's algorithm, why would they reward hashtags as a ranking factor for actually having engagement or having the content spread? And I actually believe, and I've read from a lot of people, that hashtags have minimal effect. And again, if they did have a powerful effect, then people would be using it and spamming all the time, no different than links. So I think people are kind of believing that hashtags are going to be everything, but it's actually it's chasing the right thing you want, which is you want more people to like your post and to see it, but you're getting the wrong result. And then last is going to be, it ties into point 2, which is substandard content. If you've got terrible content, it's not going to get engagement. So no number of hashtags is going to save anything. And a link and hashtags and low quality content is a pretty common thing that a lot of people post. And if you notice in your own LinkedIn feed, that's what I'd say. Go to your feed and look at, what is LinkedIn showing you today? What is it showing you tomorrow? And it's pretty rare it's going to actually show you substandard content. Now, it doesn't mean you're never going to see it, but LinkedIn kind of has a good idea that when content is starting to hit, it starts reaching more people. So if your content, it doesn't even have to have a lot of time put into it, but if it's substandard in any way, it doesn't have any good value, whether it's not entertaining or it's not educational, it's not insightful, then that's substandard content and you're kind of wasting your time of posting. And you're going to see it reflected in the lack of impressions and the lack of likes. So I'm going to talk about what are the 3 things that you can do for improving quality content. Well, first is, most people just don't do this. Create a list of content ideas. So I'm doing this all the time. And whenever I have an idea of something that I want to share that I think would be great to post on LinkedIn, I write it down. I even come up with some of our own commercial ideas about how can I create a commercial that's going to be either insightful, engaging, funny, anything. And I put these down into notes and I'm saving them all the time. I think enough people, they don't experiment with different formats. If you just think about all the different format types, you can do a post, but you can do a lot more than that. And I'm going to get into that in a little bit and talk about the different types of formats you can experiment with. Last is reviewing your data. Simply put, your data is just looking at your engagement. So it's not just looking at the likes, but you can actually go into your profile settings, depending if you have a paid account or not. And you can actually go, I want to search for which of my content has the most impressions or the most engagement. And when you review your data, this is what a lot of good webmasters do for their own websites. They go to Google Search Analytics, and then they're basically going, what content has actually generated the most traffic or has the highest engagement rate? Do the same thing with your LinkedIn posts, review them, and you're going to gain insights as to what works. And I can tell you right now, just by looking at my most popular post this year, which was literally a week ago, the core element of that is a little bit of controversy. And so content types, you've got everything available at your hand. So I'm just going to talk about them in general, and then talking about that single post that generated the most impressions over the last year that I said I did 6 days ago, was talking about an affiliate program closing accounts. And it obviously, that was a sore spot for a lot of people, and it had a lot of engagement. You can see the likes. It's got 28 comments, a lot of reposts. I was surprised at some of the people that reposted it. So again, controversy or try to challenge opinions. So content types, you can read everything here. I've got video, polls, carousels are pretty interesting. Stories, as like sharing a story that's kind of a bit more personal. People seem to engage with that. Controversy, as I always mention, you always want to make sure that your content is engaging, entertaining, or insightful, or even all of those three. And I put this as point number 8, which is to always reply to comments. Comments is content. So when someone leaves a comment on your post, when you reply, you're actually adding more content to the whole thing. LinkedIn is using that as part of its algorithm. So you definitely want to pay attention to your comments. But I'm going to zero in on polls and videos. Polls are the kind of like choose your own adventure. Like you're on your phone, you're just scrolling. When people see a poll, they tend to stop, they read it, they vote. It tends to get a lot of engagement. Now, I do think there's some of my connections actually abuse polls too much, where it's almost like alter content as polls, and the polls are very similar. So try to mix up your content so it's not just the same thing over and over again. And video is something that I think a lot of people just don't tap into, and we should be aware of this. I mean, some of the most popular social media today is TikTok, video, YouTube Shorts, video. YouTube itself is obviously video. And look at what Facebook is doing. It's Instagram, and it's all video. Video is everything today, and it's why even podcasts are as popular as they are. It's video, audio, and it's doing something that's a little different than beyond the norm. Moving on to stories, I just wanted to share a quick story. I just did a post, and I'm experimenting. I didn't even think that this single post would have actually had as much engagement, but it was just a story, and you can read it, which is, I've got 22 years in the iGaming industry, and I was at a conference, and someone said I'm 22 years old, and I thought that was hilarious. And yeah, it gets a lot of content. Now, I'm not really selling anything here, and did I make any sales? I don't know. But the more people that like my stuff, the more that I now appear in other feeds of other people. So maybe it's a comment that doesn't sell, but people always have this perception that they always need to be selling on LinkedIn. And if anything, I actually believe that the more you try to sell, it's things actually they just like. I'm just reading a comment here. It's like too much sales just turns people off. So if you basically tone it back on the sales and just try to focus on engagement, insightful content, some of the people that I now see as very successful people in sales, they do so without even trying. So I think this is the new way of sales, and I think people should pay attention to. How long should video be? I think we're maybe talking about video content itself. Good question. I'll get into that in a bit. So I won't answer that now, but I will talk about some of the videos that I've done and share the different formats I've done, whether it's like super short form, super long form, and I've got some good insights to share. And some of the more popular posts is, remember, study what works for you, but I am always looking at what other people are posting because I'm studying them. I think nobody really looks at social media from a way of going, why did that work for that other person? And when you study other people, you're going to gain a whole different set of insights, a whole different way of looking at content, and you're going to definitely create more ideas for yourself onto what you should be creating. So I'm going full circle back into replying to comments, but it's pretty important. There's so many different angles that I can talk about comments, but think about comment as like a compliment. Like someone says, like, that was a really great article. Now, if I compliment you on your shirt, and I'm doing this in person, you're going to say thanks. That little comment, thanks, is better than nothing. So when you think about it, there's a lot of people, they like doing social media in the lazy way. They just want to post, sit back, and just not do anything. But when you engage with people, these comments become top of mind because it appears back into their feeds. And if the comments have even more insight into them, it's going to reach more people. So here I'm just sharing a comment where I gave a compliment to someone where it's kind of hilarious. It's he's actually a mentor that I follow in LinkedIn, who's also a mentor in podcasting. And I basically said, this guy is the Taylor Swift of B2B. And I left that as a comment in his comments. And he literally screenshotted it and made an actual post about it, talking about this was the best compliment he ever did. So now I'm kind of piggybacking on someone who's got, I think, close to 40,000 followers on LinkedIn. So it's compliments can, what's the saying? Flattery will get you everywhere. And remember, this all feeds back into the LinkedIn algorithm. So compliments and likes, it's there's so many things you can do. When you like someone's content, you're kind of giving them a thumbs up. If you repost their content, you're actually doing a big favor. Now, this goes full circle back to content quality. If you've got an article that I think is terrible, I'm not going to repost it at all. So focus on that content quality. Make it easy for me to repost. If I've got not too much to repost in a day, then I'll do it as a favor. But someone's looking for a job, your like actually helps get them more reach. Your comment helps them get even more reach. And when you repost that, you've done them a massive favor because you know that their content's going to spread even further. They will always appreciate that. So, remember those likes and comments, they add to a lot more than just winning over friends. Next, I want to talk about profile optimization. And I'm going to say I'm guilty of not always spending as much time on this, but I have some experience back in high school. I had a background in actually studying how to, help people improve their resumes. And LinkedIn is your total resume center. So I want to talk about all the different things that you can optimize in your profile. And I want to break down what I've done for my own profile. So first one is a professional pic. I have some friends that I personally think their professional pic or their picture is just not very professional. And I want to critique them, but I don't want to be that negative Nancy that's just raining down on people saying, I know everything. I don't know everything. I'm good at LinkedIn, but I have a long way to go to get a lot better. You can always optimize your header, and I've seen people do really clever things. Like they've actually posted in the header that they're available at the next conference, so to meet them. This for me has actually been super useful because when I'm looking through profiles, that header shows up in my feed, and I realize that, hey, they're going to be at that conference. So whatever you're trying to do, it can be short term or long term. Just keep in mind that your header is your kind of way of just suggesting, hey, what are you about and why should someone connect with you? And moving on, it's like just have an optimized header. Your header can be anything, but make use of it. I kind of get a little disgruntled if I see people without any header at all. And if you got one that's a little distracting, that's, I don't know, maybe not very professional, but I think it's also okay to actually include any of your hobbies there because you're gonna give someone an opportunity to connect with your hobby, and it's just gonna resonate a little differently. I say make use, I've got a typo in there, make use of hashtags. So if you look on my page, you can see like I've got hashtags. I've got ad tech, martech, affiliate BI, and affiliate manager. So I'm targeting hashtags, and this can help me be discovered to other people when they're searching for other people. So try not to rely too much on hashtags, but I find that these hashtags stand out because it's one extra thing that gives a little bit of formatting and a little bit of life to your profile. And speaking of profile, I'm going to talk about the profile URL. Most people don't really edit their URLs, and I personally like having one that's easy to type and easy to remember. So I know my URL is, for part of the keyword, is got the one I use on all my social channels. Always look right. Most people will have like a long URL that's got a bunch of like letters and numbers inside of them. But I recommend you just create your own, shortened URL just to make life a lot easier for other people. And let's see, no more comments. So I'm going to keep going and continue on profile optimization. This is on my profile still. So I scroll down. You can actually pin your comments. Now, because I've got 2 videos that I want to get more engagement for, I've pinned them to my profile. And you can see them right there. Those videos, when they're pinned, they end up getting more views and more comments. So the first, the video on the right, which is a commercial I did, this one I pinned, and ever since pinning it, you got to remember content expires over time. So if this is important, put it to top of mind and let it sit there. Now, if you look at all the different types of content I have everything. Because I have videos, I now have a video section. I have images, articles, newsletters, and events. And people that I follow on LinkedIn, I try to look at what they're doing that's going to stand out. So I can tell you that by doing this, all these things, I think it's actually made a positive impact on expanding my reach. So make use of all the different content formats and things you can do on your profile. And scrolling down below, this goes back to my resume days. When I would critique someone's resume, they didn't have volunteer experience. I would say, you must have done some volunteering. And if you haven't, I'd be, go do something just so you can put it there so it doesn't look like you don't do anything. So of course, you can see exactly what I have in my profile. I've got my very first certificate, which I'm super proud of. It's a data visualization course I took last summer, and I'm interested in doing more certificates for this kind of micro bragging. Projects I've worked on and volunteering. So just gives more life to a profile. And if you're actually looking for a job, then this is actually going to stand out. If I want to hire someone, I'm always keen on what they do outside of work, whether it's volunteering. I want to know that they're actually actively engaging and trying to pursue and improve their career. Recommendations. I haven't done enough of this. So what I'm suggesting is, first, leave recommendations for other people because it's like a highest form of a compliment. It's just like reposting, but doing even more for someone. So if you leave a recommendation, you can actually appear on other people's LinkedIn profiles. And if your recommendation sits there, you might actually be discovered by other people, especially if they're in your same industry. So don't abuse this and don't do like 100 low quality recommendations. Put a little effort into it, make it quality. And I did this one here with Asaf from Sell Expert. So I'm looking obviously to kind of piggyback on his popularity where he's got more followers than I do. And it's just being associated with the right people. And then on the flip side, you can actually ask for recommendations. So I've actually done this manually where I've given people my LinkedIn profile, but there's actually a feature here where if you click on this plus icon, it will actually open up and you can manually ask people for LinkedIn recommendations. I did that today, and sure enough, I was able to get my first recommendation in years. So I was quite happy with this, and I'm definitely going to take advantage of this because definitely want the recommendations. And going forward, just having this next one load up, see what we've got in the comments. Thanks, Liga. Nice to see you. And posts are opportunities. So what I talked about at the very start of this was that when I started getting involved in LinkedIn and just like liking comments, reading stuff, I find that posts are opportunities. I see people talk about pain points that are my target customers, and it's an opportunity. I see other opportunities where someone's looking for something and I'm not going to solve their problem, but I know someone else who will. And when you start doing these things, people start remembering you, recommending you. And I believe for working on this for the last 2 years, it's actually paid off because now I'm getting recommended as someone who's not just helpful, but knows their stuff in affiliate marketing. And my job is to create content, be insightful, and hope that these things kind of pay themselves back. So posts are opportunities, and by scanning posts, I've been able to help get customers for our company. And even for people that maybe aren't replying, it's an opportunity to engage, leave a comment, and it's kind of like a follow-up, so to speak. So I think it's important that you see posts as opportunities, and you never know what you're going to find in any given day. Engagement. So this is going to go, I'm going to talk about a couple things for engagement. When I like to, if I'm looking to add more people to my profile and go, who am I going to add? I find a really great way of doing this is with engagement. So one is find people that you highly respect and look at who's engaging with their content. So I'll do this. Dimitri is someone I look up to. So of course, he's got a lot of content. All I have to do is go to his content, see that he's got 86 different likes for it. I click on who's liked it, and then comes up a list of people. I'm looking for someone who's interesting where I can clearly see their title or their tagline and go, if I don't think I'm connected with them, I open this up in a new tab, review them, and then connect. So this type of engagement, you want to be able to leave comments, like stuff, but at the same time, you're also trying to discover who else is engaging with this content. So again, this is something I do. I repost people's content, and it's kind of spreading the word, just gaining more momentum. And when I do these things and people like and comment in return, I start appearing in other people's feeds especially when we're not even connected. So just doubling down on this connection, I did this one where I said, who am I going to add for more people today? Sure enough, Mark Harper is well known in the industry. Took one of his posts and I just basically went through all the different likes, and I found a ton of quality people that I think I should be connected with. And it's a great way to build your network. So you've got so many different ways of adding connections. You can follow LinkedIn's recommendations for who they suggest. I don't think they're always on point, but I always check them. But you can always just do keywords and just search and look for people. You're always going to want to see people in common. And I always recommend to add quality. I think for people that just will add the next 100 people without even looking at who they are, I think it's a big mistake. I like to use a story of, I think it's Conor McGregor and Floyd Mayweather when they were doing their boxing match many years ago. Floyd Mayweather had the most followers by a long shot on Twitter, but Conor McGregor had far more engagement. So if you think about engagement as being a social currency, focus on that. So it's not about just having these random people. And that's why when I go back to this connection stuff, these are active people liking stuff. So I know that they're probably on LinkedIn a bit more. They're a bit more active. And that's another reason why I like adding people that way rather than just going through LinkedIn's recommendations. And profile views. I like seeing who's checking out my profile, whether it's the competition, hey guys, or it's people that I'm not yet connected with. And of course, when I see that they've looked at my profile and I'm able to realize we're not a connection, that's a pretty good connection and it's an easy one to make. So I like make use of that. And sometimes you want to see what kind of people you attract as you post different types of content. And video. So I know there was a question earlier about video. How long should video be? So video should be as long as you want it to be. I think there are people that are posting video with success that they're doing long form. So I think there's a mix out there where short form content is becoming a bit more of the norm, but just because everything is becoming what seems like short form doesn't mean you should just only do short form. I've done some content that is longer. I've done videos that have been as long as 10 minutes. I've done some as short as 4 seconds. And I want to say video is king. So I'm gonna talk about a couple stories here, but I'm gonna jump into answering that question. So here I've got a 90-second video. This is a commercial we did. So it's funny, or at least I like to think it's funny because we all think we're funny. And it's also educational. And it's straight up a commercial. There's no shame here. We're promoting StatsDrone. So I did this video. It's 90 seconds long. It got 70 likes, and I want people to guess before I share how many minutes viewed on this. So while we're still looking, getting some more comments coming in, just type in the comments how many views do you think this 90-second video generated. You know that it's got 70 likes, 12 comments, 4 people reposted, and I'm already giving you a little share. There's 2,700 impressions. So. All right, now I'm going to tell you, this video generated over 5 hours of watch time. I was shocked as this came in. So when you create a video, what's great is that if you just scroll on your own post, you can see a little thing that says analytics. You click on it, it shows the number of viewers, so how many different people have seen it, and it shows you how many minutes have been consumed of the video. And what I found personally from just doing lots of different videos is that people watch these things. If the video is maybe 2 minutes long and you haven't kind of created some insightful part of the video and it's just boring, well, of course, it's going to get less engagement. So you want to make video that's going to have some engagement. So I'm going to jump to the next video. This is a 48-second clip, 26 likes, 8 comments, 3 reposts, 1,500 plus impressions. And I just want to tell a short story. This is a video clip I took from the podcast we did. This guy's Chris Walker. He's got over 140,000 LinkedIn followers. And off the record, we were just chatting about how well podcast and video does. And this guy's a big believer on LinkedIn. He says, you know what? No one's doing video on LinkedIn. And this is basically going to be the hottest thing. So you had your chance to guess. This short video, 48 seconds, generated over 2.3 hours viewed. Just so much watch time. Gonna go to the next one. So this is a 4-minute long video, and this one's purely promotional. It's kind of like, I would guess that promotional videos would be not engaged at all. I actually expected them to be things that people would look at and be like, I don't have an interest in. So I think you can create all different types of content, and it doesn't have to be non-promotional, but I think it doesn't hurt to throw in the occasional promotional stuff. So again, this one got 50 likes, which I'm surprised, 19 comments. I just couldn't really believe it. Lots of impressions, and your chance to guess at how much airtime how many minutes was viewed. Well, it's not just in the minutes, it's basically over 5 hours viewed of this video. I was blown away. 4-minute video. I don't think people are watching this over and over again, but it's quite clear that the number of people, like I had 844 different viewers watch this. It's just mind-blowingly, insanely powerful. So moving on, I go to Chris Walker's profile. He's that guy who, like I said, has over 140,000 LinkedIn followers. And you just look at his profile, and it's like all of his content is just a wall of video. This guy's gone all in on video, and he's acknowledged as one of the more popular figures when it comes to personal branding on LinkedIn, personal branding in general, and B2B marketing and sales, specifically B2B sales. So he's definitely up there. And moving on. So video, it's like I can't understate how important it is. So I've been doing different types of content. I obviously started with webinars. I've obviously been doing a lot more video. And so I'm just sharing some data of analytics on my personal profile. So you can see in the last year, I've gained, I'm quite happy with this, over 400,000 impressions in a span of 1 year. And you can see towards the end, things are starting to spike. And I'm actually watching things change very quickly for my profile, where this 2 years of work, it's starting to accelerate. So I'm learning what content works better, but I'm also kind of getting more engagement where I'm starting to reach more people, and it's having a compounding effect. You can see for followers, I'm quickly approaching 5,000, and I'm not adding low quality people. I'm adding what people I believe to be high quality. And I'm quite often rejecting a lot of people. If I don't think we have too much in common, then I'm not interested. But if I think what we could have in common as a connection could maybe they like and share and reach someone that I think is important, like they have people that I want to connect with, then I will add them. And so who's viewed your profile? You can see here, like I said, for an entire year, I've been focusing on producing as much content and trying to keep the quality up, where I was maintaining this, 100 views at any given week. And you can see that it's just starting to break out, and it looks like it's going to be consistent from here on in. So I'm quite happy with that. And maybe this was actually part of it. So you can create your own newsletter. And as much as people don't like doing their own video, creating your own newsletter is kind of not as commonly used. And it's something LinkedIn has pushed out in the last 6 months. So I've only tapped into this probably, we're talking August, barely even August. Like we're looking at 3 months into this. So in 3 months, I've gained over 1,000 subscribers to our newsletter. I've only done 3 posts. So what happens is when people connect with me, they almost get an automated message saying, would you also like to subscribe to my newsletter? Now, newsletters can be personal or they can be business related. So this looks like it's a business newsletter, and it kind of is, but it's attached to my personal profile, and you can pick and choose what you want to do with newsletters. So I think obviously LinkedIn is going to want to reward itself in terms of keeping more people engaged. So this is one more tool you can use and do a newsletter. But if you're going to do it, just like video and just like posting, you want to be consistent. So if you say you're going to make a newsletter every 2 weeks, stick to it and don't let that slide. So newsletters, I get asked to join people's newsletters all the time, and just make sure you focus on quality content and quality posts. And here I'm just showing you an example of what happens when you do connect with new people. You are going to get these newsletters suggested to you pop into your feed and things. So follow the experts. One thing that's helped me massively is I follow people that they not only are they good at LinkedIn and engagement and getting building an audience and personal branding, but they actually share what works for them. So they're not really shy to do these. And that's what I'm starting to do right now. Just like I like LinkedIn, I like helping people. And I think by sharing content and trying to be a thought leader in different areas, that I'm going to win some fans over. So these are two people that I highly recommend people follow. It's Justin Rowe and Tom Hunt. And I'm going to have to definitely leave some comments there for these two profiles. I'm going to talk a little bit about Justin Rowe. He's got, let's see, he's probably at 70,000 followers by now. He's got his own LinkedIn agency. So like I said, we're not going to do LinkedIn profiles. We're not going to talk about LinkedIn ads. But if you want LinkedIn ads, I recommend Justin. And if you are looking to start a podcast, I recommend you reach out to Tom Hunt. But both of these guys, they're just constantly delivering amazing value and teaching people how to get better at LinkedIn, how to grow an audience. And I do believe that when you do this for yourself, it's going to have positive spin-offs for the company you work for, or it's going to have positive spin-offs for the company that you own. And if you're also looking for work, then you want to definitely be seen and build up a profile, because the more followers you have, sometimes this actually translates into direct sales. So I'm going to finish things off by sharing what we do. So it's quite possible that most of the people that are watching this, they might not be our ideal customer. But if I share enough insights, I'm hoping that you found this valuable, that maybe you learn what we do and you can say, you know what, this John guy knows affiliate marketing, and I don't know what StatsDrone is, but if I learn about what StatsDrone is, maybe you actually might be able to recommend us to who we want to target, which is affiliate marketers. So you're looking at a quick screenshot of our stats tools. So I'm going to give you the quick pitch, which is our app helps get and store data for affiliates. We focus on data accuracy. So that's something that we've realized in our marketing that we need to do a better job of explaining, but we're getting that reputation. We care about data accuracy, and affiliates are basically telling us that we are way more accurate than other apps that we compete with. We have CRM tools, invoice generator, the ability to manage your deals, and business intelligence tools. And we're now at 1,100 plus affiliate programs supported. So if you ever see any of my content, when you like it, when you repost it, when you leave a comment, these things help massively. And the thing that is actually even more valuable, and it's something I didn't really talk about in this entire webinar, is something called dark social, where you as a person or your company can be shared in a private chat channel. It can be shared in Slack, or it can be shared as a direct message. So if you think our software is cool and you know some affiliates that would like it, it's quite possible that you might actually share what we do inside a channel or inside a direct message. So this is the power of LinkedIn. When you become known or you gain a bigger profile, that these things compound. And then I'm finishing off by sharing that we have a podcast which is focused on affiliate marketing. So it's for affiliate managers and affiliates, or anyone that has an interest in affiliate marketing. It's the Business Intelligence and Affiliate Marketing Podcast. We publish once a week. And yeah, it's something that we want to share. So if you haven't seen our content before, I am summarizing clips as video, of course. I'm sharing that on LinkedIn, and we're always looking for more people. So if there's no comments or no more questions, I'm looking for the guesses of what people thought some of the engagement was going to get. Then we're going to wrap things up. Thank you so much for attending this webinar. I hope you found it valuable, and I'm probably going to do another one in the future, which is going to be the 2.0 version. And as I learn more about what works, I'm definitely going to be sharing. So just to recap, some of the important points is you should always be testing. Test what works and what doesn't work on your LinkedIn profile. It's if you start mixing up the content, you never know what's going to work and what's not going to work. And you also don't know when LinkedIn's going to change the algorithm. So your job is to try to stay on top of what's changing when it comes to LinkedIn moving their algorithm, because nothing's going to be static. But you definitely want to find out what works, what doesn't work, build your network, always keep adding connections. And if you're going to create content, try to go out of your way for insightful content and experiment. Do the thing that takes 10 seconds. Do the thing that takes 1 or 2 hours, and find out what works and build your audience. Thank you so much.